delighted to be kicking off today's roadshow. This is an iconic venue. That seat is the comfiest seat I've ever been at a training event. So my job for the next 30 minutes is to keep you awake in that leopard skin seat. We've got 30 minutes together to talk about how to master the retailing side of our business and how to make retailing work for us so that we can really enjoy the journey. Now, I'm proud to say that I've been a forever business owner for 3 years now. In fact, next month is the 3rd anniversary of the day that I got my last commuter train into London for my role in employee engagement with John Lewis at their head office. For the last 3 years since that special day, I've been working my forever business from home, part-time, and I have the honour of leading Team GB with Gary Gretton and Gemma Easton. I am the B in Team GB, and I can honestly say that I have never been happier. And being happy is what it's all about for me. I've been searching for my happy place in life for as long as I can remember. And my quest began long before I ever met Gemma, or either of us had heard about Forever. What I've learned is that my quest to be happy is shaped by and inspired by 2 things: by being married to a firefighter and being a mum. So being married to a firefighter teaches you lots of things. It's taught me the power of serving others. It's taught me how fragile life can be. It's taught me to be present in the moment, and that actually you should tell the people that you love them every opportunity that you get. And being a mum has shown me how strong you really are. It's taught me that happiness in life can be found in the simplest of things, and that life just isn't as complicated as we would like to imagine that it is. Because my kids, they don't find life complicated. They strip away all the complexities of life and see it for the simplicity that it is. In fact, if Ethan and Brooke were here today talking to you about how to build a successful business, they would tell you it's dead simple. You decide what you want to achieve, you work hard, you believe you can achieve it, and you're brave until you've got the job done, and you never, ever, ever quit. And then you get a treat for working really hard at the end. They're all into treats. But actually, it's not a bad philosophy on life, and it's one that I've adopted since I started my forever business. I'm a single girl. Simple, not single. I'm married. I'm a simple girl at heart. And actually, since I started my business, I have made it my purpose not to be distracted by all the noise that sometimes can accompany a network marketing business. I've never allowed myself to be distracted or tormented by comparing what I'm doing to the next person. And actually, that's not proved to be a bad thing, because in Forever, what I've learned is the simplicity of the business comes from a foundation that is built in simple, productive retailing with a purpose. So what I'd like to do over the next 30 minutes is give you everything that I've got, show you every simple step that I've taken to build a rock-solid retailing foundation to my Forever Living business. Would you like to see that? Yes! That is good. So let's start at the beginning. The most important thing I've learned in business, that to be successful at anything, you need to be connected to the reason that you're working. Successful people are connected to why they're working, and they are deeply connected to the reason that they work. Successful people are driven, they're resilient, they're determined, and they're focused. Not because they're superhuman or they're exempt from the things that you and I face, but successful people find themselves in a place where the need to succeed is greater than the fear of trying. They're connected to the reason that they're working, and this is why I'm connected to mine. This is my connection to the retailing part of my business. This was the dream board that my children made me in 2015. I asked them what they wanted to do over the next year, and they were 9 and 5 at the time, and they told me that they wanted to go for a ride on a steam engine. They wanted to go crab fishing. They wanted to be a zookeeper for a day, go to Legoland. They wanted to go to Disneyland Paris. And apparently they wanted to go to Mallorca with Nanny and Grandad. Fine. It's their dream board. And so what I needed, because I asked them this because I needed a reason to retail. I needed to find the reason that I should bother to do retailing. And what I set about doing was building a business that meant I created an income stream that would fund each one of these dreams. So what I decided to do early on was to separate the two income streams in my forever business. My team leading bonus, that keeps the wolf away from our door, it pays the bills, and it will be the pension pot in our future. It's my retailing income stream that pays for the experiences that we have as a family. And therefore, it's really important that I succeed at retailing. And as soon as I realised that I needed my retailing income to deliver these things for my kids, that's the day that I found my connection to retailing. So what happens when you find your connection to the retailing side of the business? You tell me. Ask yourself now, how connected are you to the reason that you need to succeed in the retailing side of your business? What does successful retailing mean to you? Once I'd realised my connection, I set about retailing my way through these dreams, one by one. And what it did is I realised that I had access to an income stream that I was totally in control of. And it sounds so simple to stand here and say that now, but I don't think I honestly realised that. And I'm not sure if you've realised that too. With retailing, you can decide exactly how much money you earn. Exactly how much. Now, once I'd grasped that concept, Team Turner were off and running with the family dream board. And I then spent every year retailing enough money to spend the profit on the dreams and goals that my family have produced. So what does that mean for me? In our house, this is the value of some of the retailing that I did last year. Cookery school with my husband. We're very competitive. We went to make bread, 2 case credits. A B&B for the Yeovil Marathon, 1.5 case credits. An afternoon of crab fishing, 0.5 case credit. A weekend in Cardiff for the Velathon Wales, 5 case credits. An afternoon at the Cyclo Park, 0.5 case credit. A week in a cottage in Wales with Nanny and Grandad, 12 case credits. The Tour de Yorkshire, 0.5 case credit. Climbing Snowdon, free. It's just painful. And firework weekend, they put Climb a Mountain on the dream board. It's got to be done. We're still living the dream. And the weekend, firework weekend at Centre Parks with my nephews, 6 case credits. So all of those memories that we made in 2016 cost me 29.5 case credits of full price retailing. It's less than 2.5 case credits a month. Now, I suppose the question for me to ask you is, what is the cost of your family's goals and dreams last year? What were you prepared to work for? What were you more scared of not delivering than you were scared of trying? And I suppose the most painful question is the one that says, if you are not using your retailing income to deliver the life that the people that you love most in the world deserve, then what on earth are you waiting for? So I needed a strategy. Once I'd worked out why I needed to retail, I needed a strategy. This is it. I told you I was very simple. So it's simple. My strategy is to produce 4 case credits of regular retailing from my regular customers. I want to look after as few people as I have to. I want to retail as much product as I can to them, and I want to do it as quickly as possible in the month. Because life's too short. I want to be doing the dream board stuff, not retailing aloe. I didn't join Forever Living to retail aloe vera. I joined Forever Living because I saw a company that would never make me choose between being a successful businesswoman and a mum. A company that understood that when you worked hard, you should be rewarded with money and time. And a company that offered me an amazing opportunity to coach and mentor people to build businesses which take them a step closer to their happy place. But that company asked something of me in return. That company asked me to get good at recommending and retailing their product. Now, it sounds like a fair exchange to me, so I got on with it. lots of people say to me, what is the one piece of advice that you would offer someone starting their business out? What do you wish you'd known when you started? And this is what I always share with people. I wish somebody right at the beginning of my business, when I was in that state of carnage, had just said to me, Beth, chill out. If you want productive and lucrative retailing that you can enjoy, why don't you just prepare, then relax when you're talking to people about products, and actually do everything with good intent. Because the minute that I took this approach, that was meant when my retailing started to increase, my enjoyment of it increased, and I started to be able to do some damage to our family dream board with the income that it was producing. Would you like to see how I prepared my retailing business? It was a very polite, yes, please, from the front. You're very welcome. Right. So this is what I did. Dead simple. And this is the plan that I follow, and it's the only plan I coach. Now, I'm not in control of whether one of my team will follow the plan, whether they'll do it or not. I'm not interested in how fast they're prepared to work through the plan. But what I know is that the plan doesn't change. What I did was I streamlined my product range. Now, I don't have time or energy to learn about 250 products. To this day, I have no idea what ginkgo does. I have nothing that I can legitimately use vet spray on, and I do not have a beard that needs shaving yet. So, instead, I just chose my 10 favourite products, and I decided to retail those instead. What I did was I became an expert in those 10 products. What I've learned is you don't actually need to know every finite detail of every finite ingredient in every product to be able to retail it. But if you want to enjoy the process of recommending products to people in a confident and knowledgeable fashion, then it is well worth your while to do some in-depth research. Once I'd become a product knowledge expert in my 10, I learned how to talk about the products in conversation. And actually, once I'd started a conversation with a new person, I used the customer lifecycle to make sure that I was maximising the opportunities that that person would bring into my business. And then lastly, I learned to appreciate the true value of a regular customer and learn how to actively show my gratitude towards them for the custom that they were bringing into my business for what it was doing for our family. And actually, that's what I've been doing ever since. So let me talk to you about a few of those elements in more detail. When I talk about streamlining my product range, these are the 10 products that I retail. I've made sure that at least 5 of them run out monthly. I've got 2 high-value products in there and 3 lower-value products that I find really easy to get into conversation. It doesn't matter which product I retail first to somebody. But actually knowing what I love and what I'm going to retail helps me to relax when I'm talking to people about the products. Once I decided what they were, this is how I became an expert in those products. I used the resources that you've also got your hands on. First place to start, Dr. Atherton's book, The Man is an Aloe Genius. And actually at the top there, you'll see the first 3 notebooks that I got when I attended the company trainings. Those trainings are worth their weight in aloe. The way in which my retail lifted as soon as I came back from All About Aloe, and I don't have any animals, but what I learned about aloe for animals has allowed me to speak confidently to people that have animals of their own ever since. And then at the bottom here, my latest discovery, I'm sure many of you know about it as well, the Forever North America Vimeo channel, OMG. Holly Stout's trainings are compliantly brilliant. It would take you about half a day to become an expert on your chosen top 10 products. And then, to be able to talk about those products, I only actually have 2 questions that I use. Through a bit of trial and error, a bit of role play with my family, I worked out that the 2 questions that suit me most when I'm starting conversations are, how are you, and are you up to much today? Now, I talked earlier about acting with good intent when you retail, and that's important to remember here, because I genuinely do not have the intention of selling anything, ever. Instead, my intention is to talk to people. And in conversation with people, I listen out for a need. If I hear a need for one of our products, then I know I am able to confidently and knowledgeably recommend that product to that person. Now, sometimes the person that I'm recommending the product to will want to try it. Sometimes the person that tries the product will buy it, and sometimes the person that buys it will buy it again, and sometimes not. Because that's what retailing is all about. Typical consumer behaviour. Do you put every item that you look at in a supermarket in your trolley? Do you buy every item that you've ever taken into a fitting room? No. It's not normal behaviour. So why should we expect it to be different when we retail? There's no need for us to take it personally and start, getting all upset and disheartened when somebody doesn't want drinking gel after the first bottle or doesn't want to buy the product that they tried happily for a week. We won't take it personally. You don't see the person filling the shelves in Sainsbury's start crying because you didn't buy the corned beef that you were looking at. I mean, a lot of that will naturally, because no one really knows what corned beef is. But the point remains, I'm not even sure it's meat. But equally, you don't see the person on the fitting room quit their job just because you didn't buy the jeans that you took in. We have to understand that retailing is just about activity. Marry the process and divorce the result. But when I was building my retailing business, I never stopped participating in those conversations and never stopped recommending products. I never stopped looking after people that bought products from me until I had achieved my strategy of having at least 4 case credits worth of retailing from my regular customers. So once I've started a conversation with someone and they've got a product, then I'll use the customer life cycle to make sure that I maximise the opportunity that they'll bring. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the customer life cycle, but basically what it does is it's a technique that we use to remind us that there are 7 opportunities from every person that you come into contact with. And it's an approach that reminds you to put the person at the heart of your retailing, not the product. If you're not familiar with the customer life cycle, there's a 20-minute video, much to my son's disgust, on YouTube, and that will give you all the detail that you want. I've got 13 regular customers, and what they produce for me is 6 to 8 case credits of regular retailing every month. And I've done that by looking after them. Now, the approach I've chosen to use is one that is based on chasing the relationship and not the sale. When you're more interested in the person than the product, what you'll find is your retailing foundations will be strong and they will be long-lasting. The approach that we use in our team to give great customer care is called love. And it allows me to remind myself of the importance of each one of those people. The detail of that is in the YouTube video that I referred to earlier on. But if love is not the customer care approach that you're going to use, that's fine. But I would encourage you to think about what is. Because actually, your attitude towards your customers is the only thing you've got to separate you from the forever business owner sitting next to you and every other business owner in the room. It's the only thing that cannot be recreated, rivaled by other business owners. It's absolutely essential that you know what it is that you are standing for with your retail. So up to now, we've talked about getting your own retailing business in shape because it's hard to help other people build strong retailing when it's not something, bless you, when it's not something you've got yourself. But that's only really half the story because, to enjoy everything on the marketing plan, we need a team full of competent retailers. So how do you duplicate your business? Because a wise man once said that in network marketing, it's duplication that sets you free. And John Curtis's advice is never ill-placed. He won my heart and my respect the first time that I heard him speak in 2014. I was an assistant supervisor, and listening to him that day made me understand that we can achieve so little on our own in Forever, but actually we can achieve almost anything as a team. John helped me to understand that day that whilst the retailing income is totally at my control, My team leading bonus is at the mercy of other people's activity. Having a really big, inactive team doesn't bring network marketing wealth to your door. But having a team full of 4cc achievers will pretty much deliver everything on the marketing plan. So how do you duplicate success? Because you need to. Ask yourself, how stable do you want your future to be? Because if productive retailing activity isn't part of your everyday business, then in my opinion, your business is little more than a house of cards. And when the wind of change comes along, it will blow that house of cards to your feet. The alternative, a business based in solid retailing, will give you an aloe empire with solid foundations that will outgrow you and the people you created it with. And it will benefit the generations that are yet to come. So when we think about duplicating activity in our team, this is the plan that we use. There are lots of retailing activities that you can do. These are the ones that we choose to streamline and coach. And we work on the basis of averages. If we do a product launch, on average, it will produce 1 case credit's worth of activity. A clean 9, no matter who you sell it to or how, will generate 0.44 of a case credit. An average pup basket, per basket, 0.2 of a case credit. And then your personal use, on average, 1 case credit. So again, when you're looking to build solid foundations, these are the things you need to be able to do really well. And here's the plan that we use for coaching them. It's dead simple. Choose your goal. Decide which activities you're going to do that make the numbers add up to your goal. Get on and book that activity in. Make sure it happens in your diary. Front load your month. We encourage our team to make sure all of the scheduled activity happens in the first 15 days of the month, because then you've got room for slippage. And then go out there and get the work done. Review your progress weekly, but never, ever, ever stop and end that month unless you have hit your target. There's more than one way to retail 4cc though, isn't there? We don't all need to be aloe clones going out and doing exactly the same activity month in, month out. You know, you can see there's 4 different business owners on the screen, all doing a different combination of activities. But no matter which way you cut it, still add up to 4cc. Now, the smart money for me is with business owner number 4, who to achieve the 4 case credits in their business, all they've got to do is look after their handful of regular customers. I'll leave that as something for you to think about. Brilliant. So I said, I'm going to... That's genius. Siri and I like that. So I said, I'm going to leave that for you to think about. I hope she got it that time. Brilliant. So look, let's look at the financial power of retailing 4 case credits in the last part of my slot this morning. Look at the numbers behind me. Find where you are on the marketing plan. Ask yourself, what would this income do if this was coming into your house every month? I told you I've got 13 regular customers and produce 6 to 8 case credits of retail from them every month. That is enough to repay a £100,000 mortgage a month. That's enough to take the family to Disneyland every year. It's enough to pay for a Range Rover Evoque every month. And it is enough to pay off the average amount of credit card debt of a UK adult at the moment. And all for preparing to be able to speak confidently, knowledgeably, and with integrity about a handful of products that you've chosen, and having conversations until you hear a need for someone to have a recommendation from you, recommending it with integrity, and then looking after them if they choose to enjoy the product. That's a really fair exchange. That's a lot of money. Everything that I've talked about so far is all about mastering the basics of retail, because actually that's all you need to do. But all of those techniques and that information can pretty much be found in the pages of the First Steps to Manager book. But as I've been retailing over the last 3 years in Forever, I have been made aware of 2 other things that you cannot find in the First Steps to Manager book. Would you like to know what they are? Yes. You're wondering what's in my secret file, aren't you? Okay. Stay with me. So what I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself now, Do you own a hungry purse, and have you got a bothered pocket? Because these two things, I know it sounds a bit off the wall. Siri will have no idea what we're talking about. But I want you to consider these two things, because they could make a real difference to your retailing success. So let's talk about a hungry purse. So now that we don't get our bonus recap for our retailing activity in a lump on the 15th of the month, sometimes it can be hard to track your retailing profit. I don't know how many of you, like me, we recommend a clean 9. Somebody wants to do it with us, so we order that online with a credit card, and then what we say is, right, the minute I pick up that cash, I'm going to put that money straight back in my bank, ready for when the credit card bill comes in. Does that sound familiar to anyone in the room? Yeah. But in reality, what happens is we deliver our clean 9. We get our £108 in cash, and we put it in our purse or our wallet. The problem with that is a hungry purse. And before you get a chance to put that money in the bank to pay for the credit card, your purse has eaten it. Paying for diesel, for school dinners, for a quick trip to the supermarket, and all the other incidentals in life, it's gone. And you're left in a position where you know you've worked hard for your business that month, but you feel like you've got nothing to show for it. You're actually wrong. You've got a lot to show for it. You are just looking in the wrong place. To overcome this problem, what I introduced to my world about a year ago is, I'm hoping that there'll be a picture of a profit jar. Yay! So I introduced a profit jar. Because my retailing pays for all the memories we make as a family, I physically remove the profit from the sale of every product, and I put it in the profit jar. Nothing focuses the mind like an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old monitoring your contribution to the profit jar on a weekly basis. Trust me. Now, there are 2 jars in my home. One is a memory jar and one is the profit jar. And I feel rich in my business, not because of the amount of profit that's in the jar, but because of the amount of memories that are in the other one. So it could be something that you could consider doing if you want to use your retailing in the same way as me. So the final thing I'm going to introduce you to this morning is a bothered pocket. And the question is, what's in yours? Now, the bothered pocket is a really useful pocket that I have had stitched into every pair of trousers that I wear. And what it does is it just challenges you to decide how much you're going to be bothered by the small stuff in life. When you've got a bothered pocket and something incidental happens, somebody does something like Bob was talking about, gives you negative feedback, or is a bit of a downer, you get the opportunity to check your bothered pocket. Have a good look. See if there's it. No, it's empty. Your bothered pocket should be empty to all the nonsense that goes on. Because when you check your bothered pocket to see if you should give energy to whatever's just happened, you should be bothered about it. You're actually giving yourself a physical opportunity to choose your response. And we always have the opportunity to choose how we respond. The minute that you can move on from the negative stuff, the quicker you will get to achieving your goals. I remember early on in our business, Gemma and I were presenting the business to 2 of our friends and ex-work colleagues. And at the end of the business presentation, they pretty much just mocked what it was that we'd showed them. And it kind of, at that point, it took the wind out of our sails, and we were walking away from the meeting, and, we were really low, and a little bit of doubt had started to creep in. And we're walking along, and Gemma's talking about how she's feeling. And then all of a sudden, she just stopped, and she looked at me and she said, "What are you doing?" I said to her, "I'm just checking my bothered pocket." I said to her, "It's empty, we're done." And that was it, and we just moved on. Because you think that it doesn't deserve that amount of energy. Now, from my experience, you haven't got time to be bothered about many things, but the things you are bothered about should be crystal clear to you, and you should see them every time you look in your pocket. These are the things that I'm bothered about. This is this year's dream boards from my kids. Now, the one at the top won't be easy for you to understand. Ethan has dyslexia. His bothered pocket is well and truly empty when it comes to worrying about what people think of his spelling. He dreams big and bold, and we're working through his dream board. Dream by dream. The one at the bottom is Brooks. It's neater, it is monitored more closely because that child does not miss a trick. We've already achieved 4 or 5 of her dreams. She sees to that. And she understands that in order for me to be able to do that, I have to get a babysitter on a Tuesday night and go to the business presentation to keep my business strong every week. She understood why I was dropping her off at speed at her cousin's house this morning in her pajamas. Because to deliver my family's dreams, I need to be here today to learn from some of the best in the business. So my question is, what is in your bothered pocket? What are you crystal clear focused on achieving through your retailing business? What I love about Forever is it attracts people who understand that a happy life is a balanced life, and that in exchange for hard work, our business rewards you with money and time. Money's important because what it does is it allows you to have choice. Choice how to spend your time, who you spend your time with, and where you spend your time. Last year, I was desperate to take the kids to Lapland. Always wanted to take them to Lapland. It's really expensive. Has anyone been to Lapland? You're like, really? How much? But I was running out of time. Brooke was 6. She believed with her whole heart that Father Christmas was real. And Ethan's 11, and he's a little bit less convinced, but he's just too scared to say it out loud in case he doesn't get presents. So I really wanted to take them last year. And when I looked into it, I thought, crikey, that cost a fair amount. So what I did was I set my goal. And throughout the year, I retailed the extra 22 cash credits that it took me to get them to Lapland. And on top of the things that I already showed you, that whole experience, including Lapland, only came to 4.5 cash credits of retailing every month. So did we go to Lapland? Did I make it happen? Hell yeah, of course I did. I'm a forever mum, it's what we do. I will never, ever forget the look on Brooke's face the day that I said to her, we've got to find our passports because we're going to go and find Father Christmas. We're getting on a plane and we're going to go and see him in his grotto, for real. Eyes the size of saucers. It was one of the proudest moments that I've ever achieved in my business today. And when it comes to your retailing, be really clear. In preparing well, mastering the basics and being comfortable to do that, when you know why you're retailing, then actually the journey becomes far more enjoyable. So as I leave you this morning, all I ask is that you decide what you stand for in the retailing part of your business. You do that with integrity, with passion, and with focus, and that you do not stop until you are proud of the retailing business that you've created. Thank you very much.